All right, good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing today? Good. Glad to see everyone back. All right. Remember, if you have not turned in any assignments from the previous class, to get that done, all right, for me. All right, because we're moving on in today's lesson and moving on to the next thing that we have lined up. All right. So far, we've been talking about our short-term goals and our long-term goals. We were able to create paragraphs for that and really start to map that out. All right. That all ties within the mental health side of it, and your everyday life, and trying to promote those healthy promotions for you going forward now in your second semester of your ninth grade year. All right, so for today, what we're going to talk about is refusal skills in everyday life. All right, some of you may be the first time ever hearing what refusal skills are, or not necessarily knowing what refusal skills are, but I guarantee that you've used some form of a refusal skill at some point in your life, unbeknownst to you, or without knowing that you did it in that moment. So can anyone tell me what you would think a refusal skill is? Anybody? The floor is open. Just one example. Yes.
It's a skill that you do every day?
It is a skill that you do every day, but it's more or less a skill that helps you out in certain situations. Say, certain situations that come across your everyday life. And refusal, what does refusal mean? No. All right, so it's a situation to where I'm saying no to a certain something, all right, or not letting myself be easily influenced by whatever I'm tasked with or whatever's in front of me at that moment, okay? Over here on the board, I have the standard. Now, the standard will be on the slides as well. The slides is in the Google Classroom, so you can follow along there, or you can follow along on the board as well. And then if you want to just see it up here again, I got the standard right here. All right, and I'll explain that also with our can statement and talk to you guys about what that is. Okay, so our standard today, all right, the student will analyze the influence of family, peers, culture, media, technology, and other factors on health behavior. All right, basically all that's saying is we're going to take a dive into how these things can affect your you personally. All right, family, peers. All right, so today will be on the peer side. All right, peers, a little bit of media and technology, but more on the peers and how that would affect you. All right, our essential question, all right, for today, and I really want you to think about this and hold on to this as we go through the lesson. Okay, it says, what are refusal skills, and do you think they are important for you in your life, not just as a teenager, but for the rest of your life? So I want you to really hold on to that. Think about that as we go through the lesson, because I'm going to introduce this topic to you today, or introduce these skills to you today. I don't want you to think that it stops here, but it really goes further, along once you get out of high school. You can still use them, because I use them every day myself as an adult. All right, so these are skills that you'll continue to practice and continue to use the older you get. All right, so it's not something that you learn today and then you won't use it again. Some of y'all feel like in your math class, you don't know. You're going to use sine, cosine, tangent once you graduate. I know I haven't. And I graduated almost, I don't want to say how old I am, but graduated a good way back. All right, not too far back, but anyway, moving on. All right, our I can statement. That's basically saying that you guys, I can use my refusal skills in my everyday life. Once we get through this lesson, you'll be able to, like I said, some of you already are using them, but you'll be able to use it every single day or every time you face one of these situations, okay? And then the learning target for me, but also for you, you guys will be able to learn and practice refusal skills to make informed decisions and resist peer pressure in various daily situations, okay? Any questions so far before I move on, or any thoughts on what refusal skills are so far? Okay, good. All right, so got the vocabulary, and as you can see, it's not a whole bunch of vocabulary. All right, so the first one is refusal skills. Mackenzie, will you read out loud what refusal skills is? Make sure we're following along, guys, so we know where we are. Refusal skills. Could you read that out loud for us? Strategies.
Strategies used to say no
Effectively.
to make positive choices.
All right, so that is a refusal skill. All right, it's the techniques or strategies used to say no effectively and make positive choices, okay? That is a refusal skill. All right, who would like to read what is peer pressure? The definition for peer pressure. Who would like to read it? I don't want to call on nobody else. I want someone to volunteer. Yes, sir.
Influence from peers that may encourage individuals to change their attitudes, behaviors, or decisions.
Good, that's peer pressure, all right? How many of you felt like you've experienced peer pressure before? By show of hands. Okay, a few of you guys. Show my hand as well. I've been peer pressure. It's been around for a long time, and at some point in our lives, we've all either fell victim to it or experienced it in some form or manner. All right, the last definition, empowerment. Who would like to read that one? Thank you, sir.
Process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and planning one's lives.
Good, that's empowerment, all right? When you feel empowered, you're in control of everything that you do. You're more confident, all right? You make the choices for yourself. You don't let anyone else make that choice for you, okay? Make sure we remember our vocabulary, all right? Because you're going to need to use this later on in the lesson, okay? Now, the first one, peer pressure, all right? Peer pressure is, and it can manifest in different forms, all right? Peer pressure isn't always directly, but it can be indirectly. What I mean by indirectly, if we're sitting in a room and people are doing something that they have no business doing, all right, you're the odd man out, but you feel like I have to do it because I'm here, that's a form of peer pressure, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be someone standing there right there beside you and telling you, hey, do this, do this, do this. No, it could just be because you're in that same environment with them or in that same environment, and now you're experiencing that form of peer pressure, okay? And again, everyone faces peer pressure, and it's okay to feel uncertain about how to respond. Like I said, we've all been in some form or fashion faced it, and you've been conflicted on should I or should I not. At this age, you guys probably feel as though if I don't do something, then I'm gonna be looked at this way. But if I do something, or if I do it, then I'll be looked at it, another way. And it's a catch-22, but you have to be able to stand on your own morals and your own values, all right, as a person to decide whether or not I'm going to fall to peer pressure or I'm going to go the opposite direction of peer pressure, all right? Any questions about peer pressure before we move on? All right, and again, talked about it briefly right there before you get into it, just knowing your values, all right? What it means to have values is you have a set of core beliefs or core beliefs about yourself. It's certain things that you will do and it's certain things that you won't do. All right, and that's what makes up who you are. It's the whole thing about character. Who are you when no one's looking? All right, what are you willing to do or what are you not willing to do? It's certain things that I will not do. All right, because it's just morally and in my values, I won't do it. And then there's certain things I will do because I believe that is part of my values. All right, so that's, like I said, the bullet point it just says reflect on the personal values and priorities. Also, where are your priorities lined up at? I know, put it to you like this, value, all right? I value paying my bills over buying a new pair of shoes, right? Because if I buy those new pair of shoes, my priorities are now messed up, and I gotta be behind my bills. You know what I'm saying? All right, so that's how we need to know our values. And then the other point says knowing your values can serve as a guide when making decisions. Again, like I just said, buying shoes or paying my bills. Simple as that. Now, there are harder ones that come with more, difficult choices that need to be made. But the ones that you guys experience daily, you can navigate quite easily. All right, and if the ones that you feel like you can't navigate as easy, then you go talk to the right people and seek the right help. All right, recognizing risky situations. Before I start talking about this, how many of you ever felt like or sensed that you were in a risky situation, but you didn't know it at the moment? Okay. What took you to realize it was a risky situation?
My family's drunk.
Okay, that's one. Yes, sir.
Just looking back at what happened.
Okay, just looking back at what happened. Anybody else like to share? Okay, those are two pretty good answers. You can see or tell whenever something is either about to happen or, like you said, looking back, and seeing like that situation probably wasn't the best and I shouldn't have been there at the moment, all right? You being able to identify the common situation where refusal skills might be needed, such as parties, social events, or online interactions, all right? I give you an example. One time, it was recognizing a risky situation for me. One time I was in college. I had decided to go out to a party with a group of my friends. We go to the party, normal, everything was going fine. A group walks in, a group of young men walk in, and the energy in the room kind of shifted a little bit, and I just started feeling real uneasy. So I'm like, something's not right here. And I told myself, and I told my friends, I said, hey, I don't think we need to stay here longer and stuff like that. End up leaving in the, right amount of time. By the time we end up walking out of the party, it ended up, gunshots going off and stuff like that. But I was able to recognize a risky situation. Now, nobody ended up getting hurt that night, but still, I was able to identify what my surroundings was and what was going on. And I knew, hey, this probably isn't the best environment for me to be in right now, or my friends to be in right now. So I made a decision to get us all out of there. All right. So that's what recognizing risky situations are. Any questions on that before we move on? All right. Not really the topic of today, I see. Any other day we're talking about everything else, but it's fine. All right. Setting boundaries and considering consequences. I want someone to give me an example of how you set boundaries with your friends. Yes.
They're not drinking around me.
They're not drinking around you. All right. What's another one? Them not vaping around you, them not smoking marijuana around you. What else? Them not texting and driving when they're in the car with you. Any other ways that you feel like you can set a boundary? Anybody? Them not, I guess, gossiping. If you don't want to be around gossip, not gossiping around you. That's one way of setting boundaries. All right. The importance of setting a personal boundaries and sticking to them is above all else. All right. When you're able to set boundaries, you're able to separate yourself, and you create a clear line in the sand that tells them, look, this is the line. Don't cross it with me on this particular thing. All right. When you set boundaries, then there's no confusion for any of those other. For anything to happen when boundaries are set. But when boundaries aren't set, then that's when the lines start to get blurred, and now we're in that gray area. All right, so always make sure that we set boundaries. By setting the boundaries, communicate your boundaries clearly and confidently. If you know it's something you don't want to do, tell them. All right, tell them. You have to protect yourself at the end of the day. All right, consider the consequences. All right. Good or bad, there are always consequences to your actions. We all know that, right? Right?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. The potential consequences of giving into peer pressure comes with serious consequences. We know that. We all know that. All right. Understanding the short-term gains might lead to long-term negative outcomes. So, in that moment of having that fun, may come with a long-term negative outcome down the road. Might not hit you right then and there. Fun right then and there. But what about, down the road? It's going to come back on you at some point. Okay? Any questions about setting boundaries or considering consequences? All right? So now what I want us to do, and you guys can do this yourself on a Google Doc, and then after you do it, we'll discuss it. These 4 scenarios, all right, I want you to go through the scenarios, and I want you to type out what you would do in that scenario, all right? I'm going to give you about 4. Shouldn't take long for you to do it, but I want them to be in depth. I don't want just like a generic response. Okay, really think about it. All right, so these 4, I'll give you about 10 minutes, maybe 15. All right, let's do it. All right, I'll be walking around to see if you guys are working, if you have any questions. Yes, sir.
You want to be honest?
Yes, I want you to be 1,000% honest. All right, I want you to be honest and transparent. Okay. So get started on that, and I'll give you guys time to work on it. Yeah, just put it on the Google Docs and keep it on your Chrome, but we're not gonna turn this in, okay? Am I gonna look at it? Yes. No, I'm not. We're gonna discuss it. we'll discuss it. But I give you about 10 minutes to do it. All right. Really think about it. So it's 1:19 now. Say about 1:29, almost 1:30. We'll come back. All right. Answer these 4 scenarios because I want to talk about it. Like some of y'all finishing up quick, so I'll probably give it another couple minutes and then we'll start discussing it. a few more minutes and then we'll talk about it. A lot of you should at least have the first two done, so if you're still working on 3 and 4, you got time while we're talking about it. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Again, if you're still working on 3 and 4, that's fine. All right, first two should be answered. Okay, and I want this to be a class discussion, and then I want everyone to talk about it. All right, so the first one says peer pressure to try alcohol. All right, you're in a party with friends, and someone offers you a drink, saying it's just for fun. Who would like to respond in this refusal skill situation? All right, anyone? Yes. What you got?
I would say no and leave the party as soon as possible.
You would say no one leave this party as soon as possible. All right, that's a good one. Who else has another way they would handle it? Mackenzie, would you like to tell me? How would you handle this first scenario?
Walk away so you don't know what's in the drink.
Okay, walk away because you don't know what's in the drink. What you got for me?
Out.
No. No.
I would just try to see what's wrong.
That's one. I can't co-sign that. I can't. I won't co-sign that, but it's fine. How would you handle this? The first situation or the first scenario?
I would have to say no because you never know what will happen at the party.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to go somewhere, you couldn't drive because you're drinking. If you didn't drink, you never know what could happen to you at the party also. So I would just say no and just have fun with my friends.
Good, that's a great answer. If you didn't hear it, she said she would say no for multiple reasons. 1, underage drinking. 2, you can't drink and drive. 3, you don't never know what might happen to you at the party if you do drink. And 4, she said she would just rather have fun with her friends without drinking. All right? Yes, sir.
I'd say no because then you'd be pressured to drink more until you're thoroughly wasted.
Good. That's another perfect response. All right. So that is a great job right there answering the first scenario. All right. Scenario 2. All right. Peer pressure to smoke marijuana. Some friends are passing around a joint and encourage you to join in, claiming it's harmless.
I would probably try and do it, and then when I get home, I might have some bad consequences when I get home.
Okay. So we have to learn the skill of probably saying no in that moment and moving on from that situation. Yes, sir.
I would say no because it tastes nice.
Okay. So no to the taste. All right.
How do you know that?
It's a no.
No, you're right. No to the taste, no to the smell. I get it. So those are another few ways to handle scenario number 2. All right, scenario number 3. Pressure to join a risky online challenge. All right, friends are dare you to participate in a dangerous online challenge that's trending. All right, before we get into that, how many of you have tried to get TikTok famous? Nobody. That's perfect. All right. Now, how would we handle this situation? Mackenzie, how would you handle scenario number 3? That's a great answer. That's a really good answer. By not participating in it or telling your friends no because it's dangerous is a great way to use your refusal skills all right, and avoid a situation like that. Public embarrassment or own self-harm, it's not the way to go. Yes, ma'am.
I would say no,
Mhm.
because you could get in trouble or get seriously.
Exactly. Getting in trouble or getting seriously hurt. Yes, ma'am.
I would ask myself if it's safe
Mm-hmm.
or not,
Mm-hmm.
because social media is not something you should mess around with.
Not at all. Digital footprint is real, people. So make sure that you are, paying attention to what you're posting, what you're reacting to. All right, and don't put yourself out there in those type of situations. All right, the last scenario: pressure to skip school for a day out. It says a group of friends wants you to skip school and go somewhere exciting with them.
I would say yes, but I would have to ask my mom because it's up to me to get that. And if she says no, then I would go to school.
Okay, so yes, and asking your parent. All right, and like we talked about previously, we understand that short-term goals. Short-term fun may have a negative outcome in the long run, but if you're willing to be okay with that in this situation, then you practice in a sense a refusal skill, but then you kind of thought about it a little bit. Just for the day. Just for the day. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I probably would say yes at the time, but as soon as I get there, I'd probably regret saying yes
Mm-hmm.
and went to school.
Got you. All right, so we got a little bit of regret. Yes, sir.
I said no because I prioritize school above most things, and if I did that, I'd get my butt whooped.
Good. So the fear of being punished and prioritizing school, all right, is another good way of using your refusal skills and making sure that, and again, knowing your values, who you are as a person, valuing your education, valuing, doing the right thing leads to you making the right decisions every single time. All right. So good job right there answering those scenarios. Now for the closing. All right. Like I told you, I wanted you to think about the essential question as we went through the lesson. All right. So, what are refusal skills? Do you think they are important for you in your life, not just as a teenager, but for the rest of your life? Who would like to answer? And I want someone different from the same 3 or 4 that have been answering me. Would you like for me to ask the question again? All right. What are refusal skills? Do you think they are important for you in your life, not just as a teenager, but for the rest of your life? Just start saying no. All right. Do you feel like that the stuff that you learned today will carry over with you for the rest of your life? Okay. Good. Anybody else? Allison, do you feel like the skills that you learned today will carry over with you for, the remainder of your life and not just right now in your teenage years?
Yes.
Yes, why?
Because you can be in like certain situations where you're gonna have to say no because it can affect you for like the rest of your life. Like if we do something bad,
Mm-hmm.
like if we were to go to,
It's fine. No, you got it. It's fine. Keep going. Keep explaining. Okay. But you understand the importance of saying no, setting those boundaries, and making sure that you have those right refusals. Yes, Warren, what you got?
I would like make an excuse why I can't do it. Like,
Okay.
sound like if you're sick or like you have asthma or something, so you can't go to Carolina or
Mm-hmm.
just make a hard excuse.
Okay. What you got from Bud?
I would feel like it would impact you for the rest of your life because it could go on like some kind of record,
Mm-hmm.
and they could just go to that like when you're trying to get a job or something.
Yep, it can follow you for the rest of your life. So making sure that we are able to practice refusal skills and have these skills, for our everyday lives and not just as teenagers, is really important. All right? The I can statement, all right? Do you guys feel as though that you can confidently use your refusal skills in your everyday life? Yes? All right. Good. All right, and for the next class, for the next lesson, all right, we're gonna move on and we're gonna talk more about how the influence of family affects more of your decisions than you think it does. And what I mean by that is how your upbringing so far has impacted the choices you make in friends, the way you look at certain situations in life, and things of that nature. All right. So before I close out the lesson, are there any questions today about anything that we learned, or are there any other topics that you guys would like to talk about?
Like, what you just said about like, what was you saying about family life?
Family can influence your own family can influence some of your own decisions.
Well, like, okay, I just wish to, and I went to mental hospital. Well, one of my family stresses me that one.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one family member made it cause this, so like that, like, one of my family was caused it,
Mm-hmm.
so it could be like that.
Yeah, it could be like that. Those type of situations are influences on your life that affect you. All right, and we'll get more in depth about that next lesson as to how we can navigate it and how you see that those things make up bits and pieces of who we are. Okay? Any other questions? No? All right. Again, thank you guys. If you got anything to turn in, please do so. Turn it in, okay? Turn it in. I don't want you guys to continue to have this in work. All right?